Hey everyone, my name is Wesley Chen and I will be the moderator of this month's webinar. This month's topic will focus on Multy Pro whole home managed Wi-Fi system. With us here today we have Patrick Moreno, our product marketing manager. And just before we start, I would like to quickly point out the Q&A chat field, which some people have already filled out. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, please feel free to use the Q&A chat, as Patrick and I will be monitoring these questions and answering them at the end of the webinar. Also, this webinar will be recorded for your future needs. I will now give the floor to Patrick.
Thank you, Wesley, for that introduction, and thanks everybody for attending this session of our monthly webinars for the customers here. This month, we are focusing on Multy Pro, and we want to talk about the features that are built into the Multy Pro. I'm your presenter, Patrick Moreno, Product Marketing Manager for Key Account Sales in North America. Hello to those of you who I know out there. So Wi-Fi systems, we utilize this quite a bit, and we need to have the ability to provide coverage into those areas where we really don't have that ability to eliminate those dead spots and be able to provide, a comprehensive wireless system within the home. So the providers say, what about them? What can we use? There's all kinds of systems out there. There's those Luminas and Eerios, and we see all those commercials that look so simple, but what about for service providers? Something that's geared towards us to be able to provide those services and those features that we need to be able to accommodate our subscribers. So how do you choose? You think about it, you go, well, do I go with something that's, off the shelf on a big box store, but I really need those features from a carrier grade type of product that really has those features that enhances my network and thusly helps satisfy our subscribers. So we take a look at the differences between those consumer mesh products and what's really available for your service providers. So each system on the top kind of operates the same, right? The idea is to provide more coverage and having devices to have that ability. But there are some differences when we look at those between an off-the-shelf consumer type product and what's available for a service provider. So at a high level, it's the cost. You're purchasing a product that's not just a single unit. It encompasses 2, even 3 devices. So the price is going to be roughly around $100 to $130, and you buy these in a kit, and it could range from $350 to $500. Where on the provider side, we're looking at an average cost about $100, $120, and then maybe if you need an extender, then you can purchase that separately. You don't have to buy it in an all-in-one kit. The availability of the AC in the rating, that category. So to keep the price down in the consumer market, they utilize lower ranked AC, like AC 1200 or 1300. If you were to buy a high-end kit, it's going to cost well above $400 or $500 just to put that appliance in place. Maybe it's not really conducive. But when you go with a service provider product, you're getting a high categories ranked AC product like 2200, 2100. And that gives you that ability to provide the services that you're looking for within a Wi-Fi system. Then the biggest thing is cutting that bandwidth in half. So operating on a mesh hop, you go from station to station to station, but there's no physical link between those points. Thus, you're using the wireless radio to do more, and you're dropping your bandwidth by half. In the service provider model, we're looking at a star topology that doesn't provide that. There's a central portion that maintains that connection, and when you do employ AP extending devices, then those devices will have that full connection from that central point to themselves, and then relay that onto the subscriber and the client devices. The consumer mesh products provide really good bandwidth. It looks great. You walk around and you have a connection, but they really lack performance in guaranteeing specialty applications like video, voice, and IPTV services. Very limited amount of priority queuing for applications like you would see in a service provider product for video and voice applications. That's where we really excel. And then the issue with a NAT device or DHCP. Those devices may have that built in, so if you have a NAT device connecting to a NAT device, then that adds complexity to the installation and the configuration. And you have to be able to have those two NAT devices communicate with each other, which is not easily done. In a service provider model, all you're utilizing is the gateway itself, so you don't run into that second NAT issue, and you have the full gateway ability built into the product. And one of the main things is no visibility with remote management in a consumer product. They're just not geared for that. So there's not going to be any TR69. You're not going to have the visibility to go into and see what's going on in your customer's environment, which means that you're going to have to send a truck, a service call out to figure out what's going on, maybe with the coverage, change a password, or add a guest network. It just doesn't seem feasible. But with a service provider product, we provide full support for broadband form spec TR69 and the new TR181. So what service providers want to see in a Wi-Fi system? Well, they look for a few items here. They obviously want the coverage. They want something with dual band, right? So you can provide the best of both worlds, the latest technologies with your existing legacy products, and have them coexist and work in the same unit. Also, you want to be able to support multiple devices. We're coming up to a point where a lot of the subscribers, even yourselves, are probably running into the limits of what the Wi-Fi can do. Typically, we see up to 24 devices, and they could be a myriad. So a family of 4 could have 4 computers, 4 phones, and then there's some TVs, set-top boxes, appliances, light bulbs. You know, we talked about this over and over, and it's just not going to go away. There's going to be more devices. Think about it in your own home. Take an inventory of what you got connected at home and see, and you'll be surprised at what you have that's connected Wi-Fi. Then providers want the latest in Wi-Fi technology. If they're going to offer Wi-Fi services, we've got to offer something that's really good and comparable and supports all those connected devices. Looking at AC and looking at the Wave 2 compliant devices, we're bringing those features and enhancements to the wireless network for our subscribers. Also, the ability with remote management, having that visibility to go deep inside and see what's going on with your subscriber's environment and help assist them with their issues and make recommendations without having to actually go on site and do that. And finally, it's going to come down to cost, right? That's the biggest thing. You know, you want to be able to provide a product that's going to give you a return on your investment. You want to have to spend a whole fortune for one customer just to make them happy, which is a good thing. But on the bottom end, is it really something that's applicable for the bottom line? So for service providers, they really need those feature sets that they've been used to or accommodate their service offering for their subscribers. You just don't really see these items in those retail off-the-shelf products. The ability to provide VLAN tagging, interface grouping, and port-based services off the device, you can't get that with an off-the-shelf device. Also, the ability to provide multicast for video applications. It's very applicable to have that ability to be able to send that multicast to those set-top boxes and be able to allow them to work and function the way that the subscriber wants it to. As well as DHCP options. Again, you don't find these features in off-the-shelf retail product. It's only available in a true service provider model. As well as priority queuing. So being able to take the applications and allow them to have that priority over other applications to ensure service delivery. Also, the biggest thing is customized configurations. We do a lot of customized configurations for our customers. Not that you take a product out of the box and you have to figure it out on your own. We can customize the wireless, the SSIDs. We can make changes to the password. We customize this product. We go through a whole process through the evaluation to make sure that the product works. And when it comes to you and you load it on your truck, it's set up with your settings. So even if the customer resets the power or the power goes out, it doesn't go back to a Zyzal default setting. It goes back to your customized configuration that you agreed upon with Zyzal. And then finally, the remote management capabilities. Again, from your central office, saving you time and money, being able to see what's going on in the home and help that subscriber along is huge. And all these features that you see within the service provider set are just not available. You don't see these in those Luminas and Eerios and Plume mesh devices. It's applicable to Zyzal products and service provider models. Then for the subscriber, to allow them the ability to manage their environment themselves. It's a great thing. Then that also alleviates some of the support issues that you encounter. Utilizing an application and utilizing smart devices like a phone provides the ability for your subscribers to set up a guest network on their own. They can do scheduling of the Wi-Fi so they can turn it on and off when they want to without having to actually touch the physical device. Then they can add devices where you can actually send product to them and they can install it themselves. So in the event that they say, hey, you know what, I need a little more Wi-Fi coverage, okay, we'll send you an extender, use the app, and that'll allow you to set it up and configure it in your home network. And then the ability of parental controls. This is a huge thing. A lot of subscribers look at this as a feature point when they're making a decision. Offering this in your service portfolio is a huge item to be able to extend and make yourself very valuable to your subscriber. Then looking at a high-level comparison in Wi-Fi systems in a consumer as opposed to a service provider model. Again, we both have the dual band. We support the MIMO options. Here, we can use a single device, where in the consumer mesh product, you're required to use 2 to 3 devices. That's what's the minimum that's needed to do that. For the service provider model, 80% can be covered just with one device, the gateway itself, whether it's a DSL or an Ethernet router. The number of ports, you usually get 1 to 2 on the consumer, up to 3 in the consumer product. Here, standard 4 ports. So again, you have that flexibility to add more connected devices. For priority queuing, they have a very limited set of queuing, so specialty applications are going to suffer where they don't with the service provider model. And interface grouping, VLANs, the port-based allocation is just not supported, and that's supported in a service provider model. As well as those custom configurations. We spend that time making sure that it's detailed for your environment, your network, where you're just up to your own devices with your consumer mesh. And again, the remote management capability. There's no TR69, there's no TR181. We have that support already in the service provider model. So now let's take a look a little bit closer again at the Multy Pro and its feature sets. Those are the Mesh IQ, the subscriber app, the remote management capabilities, and then we'll take a look at the supported products. The Mesh IQ encompasses 3 items. That's the auto configuration, the network optimization, and the load balancing. Built into each of the products is a self-organizing network. That's the brain trust of those. So the Ethernet router, the DSL CPE, and the extender have this capability. So they all work together and provide those 3 items, which we'll talk about here. So the auto configuration, single SSID, single wireless network. So one device, whether it's the Ethernet router or the DSL CPE, and if you add an extender, all that is supported under one single SSID. Then on the 2.4 or the 5 gig, you know, you're not going to have to search and hunt around for different SSIDs to connect to those bands. It's just going to be one SSID. That's all they have to worry about. They connect on that, and they're connected to the Multy Pro network. Then it supports both the band, so the AC on the 5 gig as well as the wireless end are supported. Again, you're only selecting One SSID makes it easier for your subscribers, easier for your installers, easier for your support. No matter if you have 1, 2, or even 3 devices in the home, it's going to have one SSID. The network optimization. So we use a lot of wireless technologies and 11AC in the Wave 2 compliance. That's the multi-user MIMO. So simultaneous connection up to 4 devices helps improve the wireless communication with the clients. The beamforming is another technology that seeks out a wireless client and sets up a dedicated path. Instead of broadcasting the signal everywhere, wasting its energy and time, it dedicates to a device and makes that connection, thus improving the wireless environment. And then the airtime fairness. So here, it cuts up the time it takes to communicate. Doesn't matter what size of data or what type of device, it equals out the time evenly between all wireless clients, so they have an equal share to communicate, which thus, again, improves your wireless performance. Then the load balancing. We utilize band steering, so a technique of dual band devices that allows it to push or steer devices to a different radio in the event of high usage or less congestion. So without band steering, we run into an issue where, all the clients, they may want to propagate to the stronger radio, and that's usually the 2.4. Even if they're dual band, you kind of don't have that ability to kind of search around, or manually you have to click onto a 5 gig to connect. With band steering, then those dual band clients will connect to the 5 gig AC side, because the gateway, whether it's the DSL CPE or the Ethernet router, doesn't matter, it has the same intelligence, and it's going to direct those dual band clients and say, hey, there's a less congested radio, why don't you take advantage of this, and I'm going to push you over here. Some events where you run into sticky clients, or they call it the bad apple. Again, sometimes it's a myriad of different issues, but usually they all kind of gravitate to one band. Without the client steering option, all the clients are usually connected to the higher radio. So it could be just the device itself, the Wi-Fi client, may not be geared up to be able to connect. It could be that the radio and the 2.4 is definitely a lot stronger and pushes everybody to that radio instead of maybe selecting the 5 gig. And in some cases within the Windows operating system or the other OSs, there may be a preferred network that kind of locks into the 2.4 and you're kind of stuck there. So when you walk around a room, you get stuck, and then you have lower connections. You don't really realize it, but you're stuck on one band. And how do you get off that? With client steering, there's intelligence that's built into the client. And it's going to know, it's going to look at the wireless environment within that area and say, oh, hey, you know what? There's another wireless network, I'll connect to that. And then now you can join that 5 gig. But it depends on the client. Clients have to support that. Some clients don't support it, so here's where you're going to have to do some investigation with your subscribers and figure out if they have something that does support client steering. And seamless roaming, that's the biggest thing. Everybody wants to roam around. They don't want to just sit around in the living room. They want to go to the bedroom. They want to walk and go to the kitchen. What do you do? So with one network, one device, whether it's the DSL CPE or the Ethernet router, you have one SSID you select. You stay connected. You can roam around. Now you don't drop those connections. You can go upstairs, downstairs, across a hallway, and you maintain that connection, that same SSID. Roam freely around the home in different areas where in the past you may have dropped off and there was a Wi-Fi handoff to maybe an extender or some other device, right? And you had that annoying drop. Now you don't experience that anymore. You still maintain the connection with that existing one SSID and those gateways. Even if there's extenders that are employed with Multy Pro, you're still going to maintain that same SSID and connection as you roam around in different areas in the home. So that brings us into the distance, the coverage in the backhaul. For distance and coverage, 2,000 square feet, really 80% of the deployments, all you need is just one device. Either it's that DSL CPE or the Ethernet router. And that's going to take care of all your Wi-Fi environment. In the event that it goes further than that, in these larger deployments, and we hear about this all the time, right? So you're talking 2,000, 4,000 square feet, then you add an extender. Adding extender gives you that ability to cover areas that you wouldn't be able to cover before. And it's still part of the whole Multy Pro system. So it encompasses that. It communicates back to the gateways and it instructs the wireless clients what to do. Then for larger deployments, 4,000 square feet or more, you can add 2 and even up to 3 extenders if you wanted to provide more coverage. For the backhaul, the traditional mesh consumer types, this is their setup. You got your gateway or your main node, and then your relay stations, and then down to the client itself. So as you can see, there's virtual hops between each point. There's no physical hardwired connection, so those radios, whatever's in there, has got to provide the public Wi-Fi in the home as well as the backhaul back to the main gateway for the internet access. So you do suffer in some performance. But with the star topology, what we use, we have a central gateway, and that communicates to those extenders. In this example, we have 3. There's a full connection between the 2 points, and then from the extender point, you have your full Wi-Fi network, 2.4 or 5 gig going through. And you can provide the home networking on both bands, as well as a dedicated backhaul between the points. So we look at the Multy Pro and the app itself. This is what the subscriber uses to help manage their own network. So it provides the ability for managing the home network. You can have a view of all the connected devices. You can add the extenders to the network and provide parental controls rules with scheduling. So you can provide all those features on their own without having to, really get involved into the device. So from itself, here's the main look. You have a whole network view of all your connected devices, all the clients. You have a little radio bar here that shows the connections, as well as the menu options, and you can refresh and get gateway information. 4 main options you have. You have your home network view. You can add a guest network. You have advanced tools that are really only available for Android operating systems. Those of you who have the iOS platform, those tools aren't available because the manufacturer does not allow for development on that, so we can't really do anything there. And then we can add extenders. When you look at the router information, you can get all your information about your wireless network, the password. You can see what the password is. You can also click on the QR code so you can scan that for your people who want to connect, as well as the login information, the bands and the frequencies they're using, and the channels, as well as IP address. You click on the IP address, you can actually go into the gateway. You can refresh it and it rescans your network. Then from here, you can click on a client device. You can see the details, the signal strength that it's offering, the device name, and then the little orange dot indicates that it's actually connecting on an extender and not on the actual router. Then when you click on the device, you can get the information about the band it's on, the channel, what device it's connecting to, the RSSI, decibels, the IP address of the device, the current speed, and the manufacturer of the actual device. So adding extender with Multy Pro is pretty simple. You just go to the main menu, you click on Add Extender, click Next, goes and searches for the device, it adds it, and now you have it in your network. And as you can see from the illustration here, you can see that it shows the device, shows there's 3 connected devices to it, and you click on the Zyzel devices to access it. and there's a close-up view. You can see the radio signal strength, see how many connected devices on that repeater, extender. Then when you go into it, you can see the IP address, the channel it's on, and then the speed it's producing. And here, you can actually go in the settings and turn the Wi-Fi off on the device and see what's it's connected in the network. So you can also forego the app and use add an extender with the VPS, Wi-Fi protected setup. Very simple to do. From your gateway Ethernet router, you press the WPS button for 2 seconds. Then you run within 2 minutes to your extender and press that WPS button for 2 seconds. It's going to do the key exchange and set it up with Multy Pro. You can do the same thing on the VMG series, the VMG201805 and VMG20180531. Again, press the WPS button for 2 seconds. Within 2 minutes, press the WPS button on the WAP6804, and you can join them with Multy Pro. So remote management. With remote management, from your central office, you have the ability to see what's going on utilizing technologies within the home and have communication, see what's going on. Utilizing TR69 and TR181, you have that ability to see what's going on, see all the connected devices, see their signal strengths, anything that outputs will be able to analyze. And utilizing your ACS system, then you can fully have a view of what's going on within your subscriber's environment. You can see what's going on with trends, and if there's issues, you can adjust those on the fly remotely and service your subscriber without having to go on site. Then with remote management, utilizing the ACS and TR69 and TR181, you have the ability, not just for one subscriber at a time, you can look at your geographic map and wherever you're deployed your devices, your Zyxel CPEs and Ethernet gateways, you can utilize TR69 and 181 to service all those. So overnight, there's a need for a firmware update or you need to reboot them, you can do that utilizing the system. So we utilize an open platform for remote management. So a lot of people ask, how come Zyxel doesn't create their own TR69? Well, there's a whole industry of leaders out there. So gives us the ability to focus more on the hardware and then look towards industry leaders who have expertise in the field of software and remote management. So that gives you the ability to look at an ACS platform, then find the ability, the feature sets that you require for your network that best fits your company's needs. So we have a whole slew of industry leaders in this segment that provide that type of service, gives you the flexibility to select a system that works best for you and accommodate those remote management capabilities that you're looking for. So the Multy Pro solutions themselves. So what's supported? Well, our Ethernet router, that's the EMG3425, this is the AC2200, high-powered managed Wi-Fi Ethernet gateway. There's also our DSL products. This is the VMG series, VMG4825 and VMG9823. Bonded VDSL2 with ADSL2+, can be also used as a router and supports the Multy Pro. And our WAP6804, this is the dual band AC2100 gigabit wireless bridge. All these devices have the Multy Pro system built into it, into the firmware, and allow you to provide the service provider mesh and those items that we just outlined. On the firmwares, you want to be aware of which firmware you have. If you don't have it, you want to be able to see if you can get it. For the EMG3425, we have 100 AAYJ13CO. For the VMG4825 and VMG9823, we have V513AAYC10C0. And finally, for the WAP, the WAP6804, we have 100 ABK H2C0. Also, for the Multy Pro, you can download the app itself. It's available at Google Play and Apple Store, and that's version 103180120. So for your questions, you want to try an evaluation, you want to get the firmware, definitely reach out to your sales team, which is in the Eastern region. That's Chris Lanier. He's the Senior Account Manager in the East. And in the West, Mike Scanlon. That's the Senior Account Manager in the West. East and West of the Mississippi. So you'll know those people. They're managed by their director, Bob Million. He's the director and my boss as well. And in the Great White North, we have Michael Cooper. He's the Director of Canada Sales. So anything north of the 48, you definitely contact Michael. Then you can also contact your broadband solution engineers. Yes, these are the guys that you talk to. Some of you may know them. Some of you may have not known them, and this is who they are, some of them. And also reach out to your preferred disti partner. So Border States, CSSA, Graybar, KGP, Power&Tel, and Walker & Associates. For your questions, evaluations, and firmwares, you can definitely reach out. Also, more information is available on our website. You can go to the main banner link to Multy Pro. You can also find it under the products themselves, like the EMG3425, the VMG4825, and VMG9823, as well as the WAP6804. You can get information. You can watch previous videos from webinars that we've done. You can download materials. You can download the app. We have links to the app. And we have tutorial videos that show you how to use the Multy Pro application. So we come to the questions. Do we have some questions out there?
Yeah, I have a question for you, Patrick.
Oh.
How can we get Multy Pro for my Zyso modems and routers?
That's a great question. You're gonna reach out again to the Zyso sales team, or reach out to your broadband solutions engineer, or you can contact your disti partner, and we can get you that Multy Pro software.
Can we turn off the mesh Wi-Fi if we don't use the feature?
Yes. So you can turn Multy Pro off. There's a couple options within the firmware that allow you to disable it. So if you just want to use it as a regular standard DSL CPE, Ethernet router, or access point, you can shut those features off.
Are there any plans to add mesh feature to other Zyso products?
Yes, that's a great question. So currently, these are the current products we outlined, right? But we are going to add this feature to our existing products, like the MoCA products, which is the EMG6765, the WAP7205, will have support for Multy Pro in the near future. And going forward with new gateways and new DSL CPEs, we will be adding the Multy Pro feature.
Is there any subscription or license fees with Multy Pro?
No. So that's the nice thing about it is there's no cost associated. This is all a total complimentary offer to our customers. So unlike some of the other products we offer in our portfolio, there's subscription and license fees. We don't offer that within our products. So you can utilize these products, no need for adding any license or subscription fees, no cost to you, which you need to send down to your subscribers. You just buy the hardware.
Can I add any other AP other than a Zyso AP to work with your mesh Wi-Fi system?
Okay, yeah, that's an excellent question. Currently, we only are supporting the Zyso AP. That's the WAP6804. There is some industry news that there will be a new standard coming out that allows to support multiple vendor APs. But at this point, it's a little bit early, so we won't have that feature built into Multy Pro at this point. So right now, it's only the WAP6804.
how many client devices can support the Multy Pro system?
Excellent question. So the gateways themselves can support up to 32 clients per radio. So roughly about 64. And then if you add an extender, you've got another 64. So just depends. Really, real world, we're looking at about 25 per radio device. So there's quite a large amount of devices that can be supported using the Multy Pro system.
Do you have to use the Multy Pro app to use the Multy Pro features of the Wi-Fi?
No. So if you're, say like you're utilizing a different app with some other application, instead of having these multiple apps and having to jump through different screens, you can use Multy Pro and take advantage of its features without utilizing the app. And again, you can set up using WPS, Wi-Fi protected setup, to join an access point to a gateway. And then from there, you can take advantage of the Multy Pro features that are built into the gateway, the band steering, the mesh IQ, the roaming is all part of it. So don't need an application to manage it.
Great. Can I add the Multi-X and use it with the Multy Pro products?
That's a great question too. So those of you may not know that there is a different line of Multi out there from Zyxel. There's a Multi-X, which is more of a consumer-based product. Does a mesh, but it doesn't have the service provider features that are built into it. So that particular product is not interoperable between the Zyxel EMG 3425 or DMG 4825 or 9823 and the AP, the WAP 6804.
I have a scenario. I already have deployed your Zyxel routers and modems. Can I upgrade them with Multy Pro?
Yes. So if they're one of the 3 listed products and you've already deployed those, it's just a simple firmware update and allowing you to take advantage of Multy Pro. Again, no cost, no service charge, no license or subscription fees involved.
Great. Last question. Can the Multy Pro be customized for my company?
That's an excellent question. That comes up all the time. So the app, you know, it looks like, hey, why can't we customize it, put my company's logo? And we are under development. I'm not saying it's 100%, but we may have the ability to provide customization within the Multy Pro app. So you can add a logo and make it a little bit more your own for your subscribers. More details are coming in the future. So once we are getting closer to that point, we'll make an announcement and let you know so you can do that.
Whoa. You want to? Okay. So Jason asks, can we turn off the 2G Wi-Fi?
2G Wi-Fi. The 2.4, you can shut off individual Wi-Fi in the device. So say like you wanted the 2.4 off, you could do that. You can go in and disable it and only the 5 gig would broadcast, or vice versa.
Anonymous asks, what device do we need to update multiple routers remotely?
Okay, so that's a great question. That, to multiple devices in the field already deployed, you really need an auto configuration server with TR69. But to do that first, you're going to have to be able to have it configured to be able to talk back to your network. There's a special tab that's built into the product that allows you to apply the URL and the credentials, the username and password. That has to be set up within the gateway itself. So unfortunately, at this point, it's still going to be kind of a manual process. But when you do decide to turn that corner and look into remote management within ACS, that can be done. So in the future, you can do a mass update of firmwares or, you know, settings be applied, you know, without having to go on site to each device.
Justin asks, Are you going to incorporate HPNA or MoCA into the range extenders to take advantage of residential wiring that is currently in place?
Yeah, so right now with coax, we have the ability to provide a dual purpose or hybrid device. That's the WAP 7205. So it has the full capabilities of a coax network with an interface that provides up to 1.4 gig of connection, repurposing existing wiring in the home. And then on top of that, we have the latest AC technology built into it. So it can provide two interfaces for two different applications and solve issues. That's available right now. And going in the future, we will be looking at supporting Multy Pro with that type of device, that WAP 7205 and coax MoCA devices.
Jason asks, how do we manage the WAPs remotely?
That's a great question. The WAP 7205 has support, or I'm sorry, the WAP 6804 and WAP 7205 will have support for broadband form spec TR69 and 181. So you have full visibility. Now you have that ability to go beyond the gateway and see deeper into the home and see those connected devices as well as the clients that are connected to that, and gather that data information, port it back to your central office so you can analyze it and help support your customers. So yes, they do support that.
Okay. Dennis asks, I'm using Multy Pro on a 3425 with the WAP interconnected with MoCA. I noticed that both are on the same 5 gigahertz channel. Should they be on different channels for this band?
Okay, so it can coexist on the same band, as long as it's not like a routed device where it's trying to compete. You can have them on the same band, same frequency, and they should be able to communicate. But at this point, if it's a coax device, then it's more likely it's not supported by Multy Pro, so it'll just operate like a standard access point with a coax interface.
Dale asks, I think it was regarding the other question with remote. Can it be currently controlled by via TR181, or is it solely controlled through the RG using TR69?
That's a great question. So how it works is it can be utilized TR69 and it can utilize TR181. When it sends information down, it'll pass it through. But if you want to send information from those AP devices back up through the router, then you'll need to use the stun option that's built into the gateway to allow communication to go up. So yeah, you can do that, and it gives utilize those two TR69 and 181 to communicate.
Okay. Jason asks again, he wants to reiterate that we are doing band steering, but sometimes it doesn't work on some devices, and we do not want to use 2G if the device supports 5G. The product is only useful if 5G it's to its own network name. So yeah.
Okay, so that's a great question. So not all wireless clients are the same. You really have to investigate and see what it is. If it's a legacy device, it may be kind of just a dumb device that just connects and has no ability or no intelligence to know, like client-steered devices. And if it's on a single band, then you really are at the mercy of that band. You know, you can't pick another band because it doesn't exist. So utilizing a dual band devices, that's really the kind of the goal, and then allowing the Multy Pro system to manage that and steer devices around. But again, it's not a guaranteed process. It's not 100%. Every wireless device is different. The best thing to do is check with the manufacturer specs on that wireless client device, like a computer or a phone, and see if there's any updates for adding new drivers to be able to support that. It really depends. So newer client devices, you're not going to kind of run into that because new laptops, they support dual band, they support AC, and more likely they'll have support. They'll communicate with a device that does band steering, like our gateways, or it has client steering. Then it's going to be able to take advantage of that and look at the network and make that determination. But if it's an older legacy device, even an AC device, and it doesn't have the intelligence to do that, again, it could get stuck on that 2.4 because it's the stronger frequency than 5 gig, and it'll get stuck on that sticky bad apple mode.
One more from Jason. We can't change the client devices. We just need to separate the 2G and 5G into unique network names. Is that possible?
Yeah, so with Multy Pro, you have to disable it because it joins both frequencies into one. So it looks like it's just one network. So to separate them, then you disable Multy Pro. You don't have the advantages of Multy Pro, but you still have the advantages of 11AC Wave 2, the beamforming, the multi-user MIMO. And then at that point, you can separate the wireless network so they can have their own unique SSIDs.
Great. I would like to open the floor again if there are any more questions, and we'll wait a little bit to see. Okay.
All right. So for more information, please go to our social media outlets here, and join us and like us, and we look to have your comments and support us. If you have any other further questions, you feel free to reach out to us. We're available.
So Dr. Cooper mentions a great point. How do people access our recorded webinar? So as of right now, we're using Zoom, and if you would like a personal email to you with the recording, you can go ahead and email us directly. You can email me, Wesley.Chen, so WESLEY.CHEN @Zycel.com, or Patrick M @Zycel.com. And we'd be more than happy to assist you locating the recording and all of that. And so right now we don't see any more questions, so we would like to close it off. Patrick and I would like to personally thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules for attending today's webinar. We hope to see you all here again at our next Zycel webinar. Thank you.